Jeffrey Epstein was an American financier whose life and crimes drew intense scrutiny around the world and raised deep questions about wealth, power, and accountability. Born in 1953 in Brooklyn, New York, Epstein began a career not in finance but in education, teaching at an exclusive private school in Manhattan. Although he lacked formal credentials in investment banking, he quickly shifted into the financial sector by securing a position at the investment bank Bear Stearns in the mid-1970s. There he worked with wealthy clients until the early 1980s, gaining a reputation for his ability to manage large fortunes and cultivate influential relationships. Epstein eventually left Bear Stearns to start his own financial consulting firm, which he marketed as a boutique service for high-net-worth individuals. Over time, Epstein developed a network of clients that included global elite figures from business, science, politics, and royalty. Much about the work of his firm remained opaque, and questions later arose over the exact nature of the services he provided and how he amassed such wealth. Epstein maintained homes in New York, Palm Beach, New Mexico, Paris, and a private Caribbean island he owned, Little St. James. Despite his wealth and high-profile connections, Epstein's public reputation began to unravel in the mid-2000s amid allegations of sexual misconduct with minors. In 2005, a parent reported to police in Palm Beach that Epstein had inappropriately touched her teenage daughter. As law enforcement investigated, additional allegations surfaced from other young women who said he had lured them to his mansion under the guise of paying them for simple services like massage, then sexually abused them. The investigation caught the attention of federal prosecutors in Florida, who gathered testimony from numerous alleged victims, some only in their early teens. In a controversial move in 2008, federal prosecutors negotiated a plea deal with Epstein that allowed him to plead guilty to 2 lesser state charges related to prostitution. Under that agreement, he served a relatively short jail term of 13 months, much of it spent in a private wing of the county jail with work-release privileges. The deal was widely criticized as too lenient, especially by the victims and their advocates, because it shielded Epstein from more serious federal charges and granted broad immunity to potential co-conspirators. Documents arising from the case also revealed that federal authorities had granted similar immunity to Epstein's employees, reinforcing perception that he had been protected by powerful allies. Despite a brief spell in jail, Epstein resumed his social life and continued to move within elite circles. Over the next decade, his circle of acquaintances included influential figures from politics, academia, business, and entertainment. His private island became a subject of intense public interest, with reports that many of his guests there had included young women and girls, some of whom later claimed they had been exploited at his direction. In July 2019, Epstein was arrested on new federal charges alleging sex trafficking of minors. Prosecutors in New York accused him of running a network through which dozens of underage girls were recruited to provide sexual services at his residences in Manhattan and Palm Beach. The indictment described a pattern of abuse stretching over many years and involving a large number of victims. The charges treated Epstein as a central figure in a commercial sexual exploitation enterprise that crossed state lines, a much more serious set of allegations than those he had faced a decade earlier. Epstein's arrest reignited public outrage over the earlier plea deal and intensified scrutiny of his powerful associates. The case quickly became a matter of national and international attention because it touched on issues of sexual abuse, wealth, and how influence can affect the course of justice. While in custody awaiting trial, Epstein was housed in the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York City, where he was denied bail. On August 10, 2019, Epstein was found unresponsive in his cell with wounds to his neck. Medical personnel attempted resuscitation, but he was later pronounced dead. His death was ruled a suicide by hanging. The circumstances surrounding Epstein's death sparked immediate controversy, as many observers noted irregularities. The failure of cameras near his cell, the absence of regular checks by guards, and other procedural lapses that raised questions about how someone under high security could end his own life. The fallout from Epstein's death was swift and far-reaching. His victims and their supporters reacted with outrage, saying that his death denied them a chance for justice in a public trial. Legal battles erupted over his estate, with many lawsuits filed by women who alleged they had been abused by him. Efforts to hold his alleged co-conspirators accountable continued, with civil suits naming individuals who had been connected to Epstein's social network. Epstein's properties became sites of legal and media focus. His private island, Little St. James, was searched by law enforcement, and investigators spent months gathering evidence believed to be connected to his alleged trafficking network. Properties in New York and Florida were similarly examined for documentation and digital records that might shed light on the broader scope of his activities and the identities of others who may have participated in or enabled his conduct. The scope of the public reaction to Epstein's death underscored how his case had become a symbol of systemic problems in the way powerful individuals are treated by law enforcement and the legal system. Critics argued that his ability to evade more severe punishment for years was due to privilege and influence. The Justice Department's handling of his original investigation drew intense criticism, and the 2008 plea deal was seen as emblematic of a justice system that treats wealthy defendants differently from ordinary citizens. In response to controversy, reforms were proposed aimed at how federal prosecutors negotiate plea agreements in cases involving sex crimes, particularly where minors are the victims. Victims' rights advocates pressed for laws that would prohibit deals that grant sweeping immunity to accomplices without public oversight. The public discourse sparked by Epstein's life and death deepened conversations about power, exploitation, and accountability. Beyond legal debates, Epstein's darker legacy includes a way his story has influenced a broader reckoning with sexual abuse and trafficking. His case became one of the most prominent examples of how predators can operate across jurisdictions and social circles, exploiting weaknesses in legal systems and societal blind spots. Advocacy groups use the attention from the case to push for greater protections for victims and more rigorous enforcement of laws designed to prevent trafficking and abuse. The names of those who associated with Epstein, from politicians to celebrities, came under scrutiny, with some figures facing questions about the nature of their relationships with him. While not all associations implied wrongdoing, the spotlight on social and professional networks raised ethical and reputational questions about how and why powerful individuals accepted invitations and hospitality from someone later revealed to be engaged in criminal conduct.